All right. Good old record button showing.
I'm seeing recording, man. So I think we are live.
All right.
This is where
Ladies
you
and
gotta have that
gentlemen.
that intro, man.
We be clowning. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, the Meat Viking, followed by my wonderful host.
Hey, man, it's Professor Pork-Loin, aka Dr. Chef Hubs, up in the house.
That's right. We got a wonderful episode for you guys today. Something I think most of y'all will enjoy. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite Thanksgiving meals for this Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, man. Thanksgiving. I can't believe it's already November. Like, I can't believe we're almost done with it, and that we have food to just celebrate for one whole day.
I mean, like, I don't know about you, but for me, it feels like it's the 11th year of 2020.
I know, right?
It's just, God, this year's gone so slow.
But the good news is that Thanksgiving Day, you are going to eat your face off, right? Just like everyone else in America, you're going to overeat yourself and you're going to feel fat, and it's going to just be, hey, sweatpants and movie kind of night.
Oh, no, it's going to be like a
So,
sweatpants and movies for the next 3 days.
well, yeah, because then you have all the leftovers, the gorgeous leftovers. So that's also something that I could talk about towards the end, about what can we do with these foods with
Mm-hmm.
leftovers, man, because you're going to have bags and a ton of it depending on how much that turkey you bought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but before we start, man, what do you have in your cup?
I had triple sec and tequila.
Triple second tequila. Okay,
Yep.
so you're almost making like a margarita at that point.
Yep.
Should have just thrown in a little bit of some OJ or some sour mix, man. You would have gotten yourself basically a tequila with some margarita stuff.
Was going to, but my sour mix is expired.
Ooh, bad news
Yeah,
bears.
bad news bears. And like that's gonna happen because usually when I have whiskey in the house, I mix whiskey sours, and then I don't touch the sour mix unless I grab whiskey again. And I've been out of whiskey for a while.
That sounds like a you problem, man.
It really is a me problem. I need to get on that.
Well, for myself, I wound up picking up some of that Crown vanilla. So I got
Ooh,
myself a little snifter of it because vanilla is got to be one of those integral things for Turkey Day, man.
okay.
No, figure pumpkin pie. It's got the
Mm.
vanilla in it. So it's, to me, I feel like it's just one of those drinks that's gonna elevate Turkey Day.
No, man, I agree with you on that.
So the other one was apple, and I've had the apple before, and I feel like that kind of goes along too with the apple pie and stuff. But felt like vanilla was just an easier choice for today.
Nah, and it's a good choice too because I didn't even know they made it Crown Vanilla.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of different flavors now.
I know they got apple, peach. I seen, and then I guess vanilla. I know they had the maple one that was real good for a long time.
Yeah, that was really good for sure. So Thanksgiving, man. Do you have any before we get into any foods, are there any traditions that you do around Thanksgiving? At least
Well,
related to food, I guess.
yeah, there's something that I make that I'll get into in a little bit. Um, it's been one of those requested at like every family gathering, and so I have this crock pot filled with this that just goes from home to home to home, and whatever's left gets sent back home with me, and it's usually not a whole lot left.
Okay. Well, what is it, man? Give us the story.
Well, first of all, we need a safe word. We're going to be talking
True.
about food already. So, you got a safe word for us there, bud?
Yeah, man. I think the safe word is going to have to be bird, just in line with the Turkey Day. So,
Sounds good.
bird is the word.
Bird, bird, bird. Bird is all word. So, anyways, I make this buffalo chicken dip. I take like 4 cans of shredded chicken, like 2 things of Frank's Red Hot, some butter, some honey, and I put all that in a crock pot, let that thing cook. And like different places will get you recipes. This is one of those, like I mentioned in last week's episode, the ancestors will tell you when it's time.
Yes.
And so but like, so eventually once all that kind of gets good, I go through and I'll continuously throw like mozzarella cheese or like pepper jack cheese, sometimes both, and just mix that in there to add more spice. And then, dude, just that and some Tostito chips. Mm, that is my appetizer is a buffalo chicken dip.
Okay, so that doesn't really seem very Thanksgiving-y,
It's not.
like because it doesn't have any of the apples or it doesn't have like that fall feeling. But I could totally see how that would be a delicious appetizer for
Mm.
Thanksgiving.
Well, and like my thing was too, is when I started making this, it was like I needed something to bring, and I knew it had to be easy to transport and go to multiple Thanksgivings. My parents are separated. She's got one that we go through, and then sometimes there's a French Thanksgiving that we hit up too. And so if I need something that can go through 4 Thanksgivings and still be okay, something like a nice dip works perfectly for me.
Yeah, so I've done some Friendsgiving stuff before, and my
Mhm.
appetizer that I always went to was my chili dip appetizer, and that one's stupid easy to make too, man. You get yourself one of those little containers, you get some cream cheese, and then you like press it out so that it's all the way across the bottom of your container.
Mhm.
Again, you could do it as a 9 by 13 or what I always use the foil ones, the disposable
Yep.
aluminum ones, super easy. And then all you do is you get some Hormel chili, you just spread all that crap on top and get a bunch of cheese, throw that on top. And if you wanted to do, like jalapenos or anything, you could, but it's way easier to just throw it right in the oven at that point, let it warm up so that the cheese melts and the chili goes, and then take your Tostitos chips or any type of chips, just dip that bad boy in. So
Yeah.
again, not necessarily Thanksgiving, but
Right.
it's super easy and it's one of those ones that a lot of people would enjoy and eat. So
Yeah.
that was definitely the one that I always did for Friendsgiving. But the one that I know that I would always eat whenever I went to relatives' house or even my parents' house is shrimp, man. Peel and
Yep.
eat shrimp. Get a little bit of some cocktail sauce, and I feel like that's everywhere when it
Yep.
comes to any holiday stuff for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. And I'm sure we could talk about Christmas things when that episode comes around. But man, peel and eat shrimp has always been the number one that I remember for appetizers.
I th- I want to say it's my grandpa, but that's what he brings at Thanksgiving as well. Is he'll bring some, that big old thing of tray of shrimp. You got the cocktail sauce right in the middle. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so and you can't fill up on all the appetizers. And that's the
It's so
problem.
hard not to
I know
Thanksgiving.
you have all this other food that's around and you can't fill up on the appetizers, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, we usually eat around like 3 in the afternoon type
Mm-hmm.
deal. So it's right after that lunch and the appetite and the right before dinner side, that dinner, if you want to call it.
Yep.
And we always have all the charcuterie boards and we have all the extra appetizers and things, finger foods and whatnot. So you always eat a whole bunch and then you get ready for the dinner stuff and you're going, how am I going to put this in my belly?
Yep. But you managed to anyways.
Yes. So what are some of the sides that you happen to get when it's coming to Turkey Day?
Okay. So we talked about this a little bit last episode, but I think you and I can both shout out to the good old canned cranberries.
Yes, we
First of
did talk
all,
about that.
okay, like, is it Thanksgiving without somebody bringing a can of cranberries?
Man, I don't think it would be Thanksgiving. I don't think you could call it Thanksgiving until you see that on the table.
Exactly.
And it still has the can marks because the molding that's been.
Yep. No, no, no. Those aren't marks from the cans. That's where you cut it for your serving.
That's also very true.
So it's a little bit of both, but that's how you know. There is one unique one though that hasn't really been at other Thanksgivings that I've gone to lately,
All
simply
right.
due to a couple of years back, my mom ended up moving down to Texas. The rest of the family lives up in this state that shall not be named because it doesn't deserve that. And so this isn't brought here anymore, but she used to make something called corn bake. And essentially, it's almost like cornbread, but it's like cheesy and like melty in the middle, and it's freaking amazing. She actually, let me see what she got in here. It's 1 can of corn, 1 can of cream corn, 1 stick of butter, an egg, and some Jiffy cornbread mix. And then you just add some more butter and more cheese and some sour cream if you want. And I'll tell you what, man, it's like cornbread, but it's like creamy and it's delicious.
All right, man. Look at that. The Meat Viking over here pulling out the recipe for you guys. So anybody
Mm-hmm.
listening, you could give that a shot. So you just throw everything into a bowl or into a pan and then heat it up, and then what? Is that the whole, basically the whole directions?
Well, I mean, like this is like ancient script writing here. And so 1 can of the whole kernel corn, 1 can of cream corn, 1 stick of butter, 18 ounces sour cream, an egg, one looks like boxed Jiffy mixed cornbread. Looks like you just mix it together, bake at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. That sounds like a very solid recipe that people can give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean it seems easy enough. It's just one of those things that mom always used to bring to Thanksgiving, and not gonna lie, it's pretty freaking tasty.
So the stable ones for where I'm at with the turkey day,
Mm-hmm.
we got to have regular mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that my mom always did that was to throw a little bit of some garlic salt in it,
Okay.
a little bit of some milk, and as you're whipping it up, it gets everything all nice and creamy and super fluffy, super delicious. And then the other one, obviously, man, sweet potatoes.
Yep.
Almost the same way of making them, but you obviously have to get those marshmallows.
I was just gonna ask, do you do regular sweet potatoes or do you candy sweet potatoes?
We do the regular sweet potatoes, but then we add those bad boys on, man. We throw on those marshmallows, let them melt just enough. Now, southern type of stuff, from what I've been hearing, they also throw on the pecans,
Okay. Yep.
right? And not the pecans for all the northern people. It's pecan.
Right.
Pecan is something that you wind up using the restroom with.
Exactly.
But so those are the two staple like sides that are always in any Thanksgiving meal that I've had before. But there have been some other sides that have kind of come and gone. You know, I've seen some of the casseroles that go
Yep.
in. Obviously the stuffing, you got to make that homemade.
Right.
We've had vegetables and things, you know, corn and whatnot, but those are kind of in and out when it comes to where we're at or who we're hanging out with and whatnot. So
Now, does your family do like a green bean casserole?
yes, there is a green bean casserole that's usually
Yep.
floating around at some point.
Yep. And let me think.
My grandmother would actually do that one.
Okay.
So she would have that as one of the things for Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
or Christmas actually, but
Yeah.
typically one of the sides would be one of those.
Ah, it's like pre anticipation of Turkey Day hunger right now.
I know, right? So for all the people that are about to be mowing down on this, I hope you're enjoying the mouth-watering foods that are coming out of our mouths, and you'll be seeing at your tables.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, let us know what are some of the things that your family does, because you know, Professor Pork-Loin and I, we grew up relatively close to each other, and so we kind of have similar traditions.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see even from state to state on that one how different some of those traditions are.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, because now that I'm in the South, there's definitely some different ones that I'm not used to. You know, again, cornbread being one of the
Yep.
big ones. I'm not used to having like jalapeno cornbread or stuff like that for Thanksgiving, but man, whenever I go into the in-laws house, they've got a whole bunch of Southern foods. So, but yeah, I'd be curious to know what some of the listeners are doing with their sides. Like,
Exactly.
what would be one of the things that they get into every year that they bank on being on that table?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, because for me, you had mentioned sweet potatoes,
yeah,
and
sweet
that's one of the
potatoes,
things
yams.
that like candied yams with some marshmallows. Yep,
Yeah.
that's going to be on my plate. You know, at this point too, I consider stuffing a main course. You know,
Yeah, I can see that.
so
So, speaking of, you got to do the main course now.
hmm
So, there's a variety of ways to do a turkey.
yep.
What's the normal way that you guys do? Like for this Thanksgiving, how are you going to do your turkey?
So this is going to get a little complicated.
All right, man, throw it at us.
On my mom's side, pretty sure they do the standard turkey in the oven. You let that thing cook all day, juice it as you need, all that, right?
So it's in the oven then.
Yeah,
You're
turkey in
doing
the oven.
okay.
Now, on my dad's side, I was in a text thread and they're talking about deep frying one
Oh man, don't be burning down your house, man.
and then talking about smoking the turkey as well.
All
Because they usually
right.
do two different turkeys.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the oven one first, and then we
Mm-hmm.
can get into the others. Because I've definitely done the oven one before, and
Yeah.
it's super easy. Low and slow, depending on how many pounds. I think
Yep.
it's like for every pound you have to add a half hour or something like that. The
Yeah.
directions are usually on your turkey, so or if anything, you just pull up the old Google machine and it will tell you. But I'm pretty
Right.
sure it's 20 minutes per pound, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And it's super easy, because every while you just check in, get some of them juices, get yourself a little pipette or a little thing, suck it up, spit it on there, just so that the skin is not going to be super dried out, right?
Yep.
And if you've got stuffing stuffed up in there, make sure that things are good. So that's the one. Now, I have modified that one year where I actually did a bacon wrapped turkey.
I remember you sending me a picture of this. Now, how'd that
Yeah.
turn out?
So it turned out awesome, man. And the cool thing is I used basically 2 pounds of bacon and I
Mm-hmm.
did a little interweaving of the whole entire thing. So, one went straight ahead and then I, followed all the way through. And then I went in under, like all under and everything. So it looked like a nice little basket weaving type deal. And it
Nice.
was great because the bacon
Mm-hmm.
kept the juices as it was cooking, as it was going right down into the turkey. So not only did you have that turkey flavor, but you also tasted the bacon. And then plus the bacon was crispy at the end. So, I mean, you can say about that because, man, what bacon we've already talked about that episode one, man,
Mm.
the baconing. So there's a
Bacon.
lot of things that you can do with bacon. All right. And adding that to your turkey, freaking delicious. So, okay. The second part, deep frying, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Deep frying is a good way of doing it, but listeners, if you're going to do that, please do not burn your house down. All right. There are numerous times the fire department has to come, and I can't pull the stat up, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 100 people that do it throughout the year that burn their house down because they take a frozen turkey and stuff it in boiling hot oil, 350 degrees, and don't realize that that's going to wind up exploding and then the oil is going to catch fire. Are you pulling up that stat?
If I could spell right, yeah. Let's see. Number of each year. Okay. Each year, fire departments respond to more than 1,000 fires related to deep fryers.
Oh man, so 10 times the amount that I said. Over 1,000. So please
Right.
make sure that you defrost the turkey. Make sure
Yep.
that you are not going to burn your house down.
Yes.
But if you do it correctly, you are going to enjoy yourself some nice, crispy, moist, wet turkey, man.
Hmm.
So, have you had that before? Have you had fried turkey before or no?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And
Okay.
it
Have you?
is so good. So good.
So the circles for this year, you guys are doing. Are you guys doing to do a fried one at your dad's place or what?
Due to everything going on
Yeah.
in my personal life and with the situation in the state that I am in, I am unable to go to any Thanksgivings this year.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So, what are you planning on doing then? Just throwing it in the oven?
Well, depending on if the casino is open, the
Oh man,
casino does a Thanksgiving thing,
buffet.
buffet. So we'll have to see how that plays out because I think, yeah, I think today for 21 days, my state goes on lockdown again. And there's a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So it'll have to be like, so what's going on? What's still going to be open?
True.
So, but we have somebody who has children that are susceptible to getting sick very easily. The wife and I, due to our job, we're around people all the time
Yeah.
and we handle like so much stuff. So it's safer to be responsible. And who knows? Maybe we'll do like Zoom meetings. You know,
Yeah, who knows? But well, whatever you decide to do, hopefully it comes out great. I'm sure if the casino works out, they will have good turkey, they'll have whatever it is, and you can stuff your face down. The only downside to that, man, is you're not gonna have leftovers. You're not gonna be able to take anything home.
I know that's a shame. It is
um
a shame.
so I have not done the frying, but my dad has before, and it's delicious. But I have done the smoking before.
Okay.
So it was last year. I wound up getting one of those. It's not a mini smoker, but it's definitely one of those propane ones. But it could also use wood as well if you wanted to. And I wound up trying to do that. So I got myself a 20-pound turkey, and I was smoking a lot of stuff previous to that. So I've done salmon and I've done, ribs and brisket. And I think we'll kind of talk about that in a future episode about smoking meats. We haven't gotten there yet, but I figured let's try turkey. And you want to talk about having a delicious turkey as well. Smoking is also good too. Very low and slow again. I mean, you're only about 200 something degrees, 250, and you're going for 8, 9, 10 hours. But fell right off the bone, and it was probably one of the
Mm.
best smoked ones that I've done. Now, my dad has also done one where he has added some of the wood chips that have that cherry or the hickory, so you get just a little bit of that flavor when you're biting into that. But smoke, if you're gonna smoke it, I'd say go for it, man. It's probably a lot easier. Just make sure that your fire doesn't burn hot.
Yeah.
Just make sure coals, if you're doing it, whatever it is, just keep it moderate temperature for that one. So
Now, there's one way that I have cooked a turkey before when I was a wee lad, and it was during Boy Scouts. We did a turkey over a campfire.
okay,
So essentially, we had like a tripod set up, and we had a big Dutch oven um, pot, pan, pot, pot,
fair enough.
large Dutch
Just
oven.
yeah,
And so, anyways, we cooked that that way, and I would love to do that again just to see if that holds up to my favorite way of cooking turkey.
I mean, I think as long as you have a little bit of some chicken stock or something in the bottom, just so that it doesn't dry out,
Yep.
I want to see why not. It'd probably steam and make it all nice and pretty. So
Mm-hmm. And plus, you get to be outside and build fire. Two
True.
things. Two things I am a fan of.
So you do get some of that smoke as well.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. So I'm not sure if there's other ways to do turkeys, but anybody listening, if there's stuff that you have done and you wanted us to kind of explain some of that in a future episode, let us know. Just because I'm always up to trying different ways on how to do a turkey, man. So
Now, what about the turducken?
I have had a turducken before. I,
I
I did
don't know
that.
if I have.
I did that. Was it 2014ish, somewhere around there? I went home and we did a turducken.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive. I mean, regular turkey would probably cost you $30. This thing's going to cost you like 50, $60 because you're getting the turkey, the chicken, and the duck.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I remember, there was no bones
Mm.
because essentially they had to debone all that stuff so that they can stuff it into each one of them. But yeah, a turducken is pretty damn good. So, and I think that's kind of cooked the same way though. I think you got to put that in the oven, just let it low and slow.
Exactly.
So that's the main meal. Now, other people have done hams before.
Mm-hmm.
My
Ham is
family
another
doesn't do
popular
ham.
one.
Yeah, my family doesn't really do hams. We do that for Christmas.
Okay.
But um, that again, we can get into that for another episode. But did you say that your family does ham?
They do. They do like a honey roasted ham that my grandpa usually cooks. And it's there, it's on the table for maybe an hour, and then it's picked clean. Super popular with the family. I'll have to see how he does it because I never really asked him, or maybe I have. And he just kind of looked at me like with old man wisdom, like I will teach you when you're ready, young child.
Yeah. What's really funny though, man, is Spiral Ham was actually founded not too far from where you're at, up in the D, man, up in Detroit.
Really? I never would have
Yeah,
guessed
so
that.
it was founded in Detroit, 1957.
Okay.
So the D, man, the Detroit. And really it's really funny because it was a honey baked ham company, and this guy, he invented a ham slicer
Mm-hmm.
after tons of times as a salesman. He hated the way that no one.
Bird.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I lost you. Lost you.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. It said my connection was unstable.
It's all good. I was just trying to get you, and then I didn't know if I was the one losing connection or if you were.
Chances, man, it's probably me.
Okay. So we were talking about how he was a salesman, and that's when I lost you.
All right, so yeah, man, this guy was a salesman, and he really hated being the salesman where people couldn't cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So the way he figured out how to do this is he took a tire jack, he took a pie tin, a washing machine motor, and a knife, and he basically fashioned himself the world's first ham slicer.
Nice.
So essentially, the ham would go right in, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd have the knife on there, and the ham would rotate, and the knife would basically just cut it all the way around until it got closer to the end,
Uh-huh.
okay, and then boom, he wrapped it up, and there it is, one of the
Just
world's greatest inventions with the weirdest things, and you have yourself, a spiral ham.
mm, that's some ingenuity right there.
I know, right?
I never would have thought of that.
It is, and it is delicious. So I thank that dude from 1957 as
Mhm.
a salesman, because that guy was breaking records, man. He was selling hams, and because of that, we are now easily done with spiral baked hams. So,
Hell yeah.
and what's really funny, man, is that according to this article that I found, Americans consume around 65 pounds of pork per year.
That can't be right.
Yeah, 65 pounds of pork per year. And according to the Department of Agriculture, about 34% of all hams sold are spiral sliced, where a lot of the consumption of these hams, Easter, Christmas.
So is that saying each person consumes 60 pounds of ham a year?
Each American consumes
Okay.
around 65 pounds of pork per year.
Yeah. That's why at first I was like, there's no way America just eats 60 pounds of pork.
No, man, it's each American.
Yeah. That okay, now I can understand this. Yes.
Jeez, one pig freaking equals
Yeah.
out more than that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, there's something wrong with these numbers. I didn't know if you were missing like a million or a billion in your statistic. So,
No.
wow.
So yeah, how fancy is that, man? Spiral ham actually came from Detroit.
Never would have guessed it.
I know, right?
Huh.
But so those are the main meals. And again, I don't think anybody really has different main meals. You might actually have prime rib.
Yep.
I've heard that a couple times, but if there's people in the comments of how they have other things they do for Thanksgiving, certainly say that. But I'm pretty sure those are the two main ones for Thanksgiving. So you obviously have to close out with desserts, man.
Of course. Now, I've already got my screen prepped and ready to share something.
All right, man. Let's do it. What are you sharing for desserts?
So this is something that in the restaurant growing up we used to get, and it's called old-fashioned cream pie.
Ooh, okay.
And essentially, it's like a custard-based pie with like a brown sugar topping that gets caramelized when you bake it.
Yeah, okay.
And you can see here, got your ingredients.
White sugar, the 1 egg, half and half, flour, whipped cream, butter, and cinnamon.
Yep. So I remember like the recipe that we did, there was more of a brown sugar mixed in. So
egg, half and half, flour, whipped cream, and butter. And then you basically beat the crap out of it until you probably get those nice little peaks. Pour into a pie shell and sprinkle with cinnamon. Man, that sounds pretty easy.
And it is, but me personally, I would throw a little bit of brown sugar on top of that too. But that's because I like brown sugar.
Okay.
Now, do you have anything that is kind of like one of yours?
Hands down, every Thanksgiving I've got to have pumpkin pie.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is something that my mom and I have always enjoyed. I mean, my sister and my dad enjoy it too, but my dad also likes apple pie. But hands down, if there's going to be any dessert that at least my mom and I are going to eat, it's going to be pumpkin pie. And we throw the tons of whipped cream on top.
Yep.
And we are the ones that are going to be eating the rest of it later on,
Oh, I do know. So
we do have that. And there are apple pies sometimes. I mean, my grandmother made it. Again, unfortunately, she's not around. So my dad usually does that. But the other one that is always a staple in that is my dad makes a sweet potato flan.
Okay.
So that is always another one that it's on the table. And he does that from scratch, and it takes him a couple hours to do. And he, it comes out so good. And he's got the glaze and everything from all the sugar. So the two that are definitely on the table are going to be that sweet potato flan and pumpkin pie.
See, like I'd fuck with that sweet potato flan because I love me some sweet potato pie. So I can only imagine that this is amazing as well.
The flan is amazing, man. It definitely is. So, but being in the South, I didn't even think about it, but the chocolate pie.
Like a chocolate meringue pie?
No, not a meringue. I think it's just called the chocolate pie.
Let's see on Google. Oh, I see it. Yeah. It looks like it's not a meringue-based pie.
No, it is not, man. It's just a chocolate pie. That's very popular down here, which I enjoy. It's really good, but most of the people that are down here, that's the stuff that I see. Now, obviously, I see pumpkin pie too, but no, it is definitely chocolate pie.
See, no, like when I grew up, we did a chocolate meringue pie, and that was
Okay.
really good too. Remember how you mentioned banana pie last episode?
Yes, the comfort food, the
Yeah.
banana pie.
Did you ever do like a banana pie with a meringue style topping?
No, we never did the meringue style stuff. We always just used the whipped cream.
Hey, if it's good, it's good.
You're right. If it's good, man. So
Trying to think, apple pie, pumpkin pie. I've noticed the last couple of Thanksgivings I've gone to, somebody's brought brownies, and the brownies have always been super good. But also, I like sweets. Not gonna complain
yeah,
if there's brownies hanging around the house.
yeah. I mean, if brownies are gonna be there, I'll probably eat some of it too. But I usually stuff my face with the pumpkin pie instead.
Feel you on
So,
that.
so I think one of the last things we can kind of chat about, and again, if there's other desserts in there, I'm not 100% sure what other people get, but I'm pretty sure that covers a lot of it. But leftovers are going to have to be I think the biggest thing here, because every year, if you're going somewhere or if someone's cooking, you got to take a couple plates home. You got to
Oh yeah.
have the gravy, the mashed potatoes. So what I do, and it's so bad because you spend all day eating the appetizers, you spend all day with wine or drinks, beer, whatever, and then you eat your dinner, and then like 40 minutes later, after you've already stuffed your face, you're like, man, I'm hungry again. When
Mm-hmm.
you're not hungry, it's just your brain saying, look, you're bored. There's food in there. Let's throw in a couple more pounds. And so what I normally do is I normally get just some of the turkey and I'll throw some mayonnaise on it with some cheese and just mow on that as like the 40-minute leftover type. But
Mm-hmm.
I've also done the garbage sandwich or
Yep.
the Thanksgiving sandwich where you put in the stuffing, you put in the turkey, you put a little bit of some mashed potatoes, you put everything on 2 pieces of big bread and you just stuff on that one.
Oh yeah.
So
That's a good sandwich.
that is a good sandwich for sure.
I've done that. There's also
So
been times where I've just like taken a whole thing of sweet potatoes home and just like dinner sweet potato.
are there stuff that you could repurpose? I mean, I could always think of things to repurpose leftovers with. Like I could easily make like a buffalo chicken or a buffalo turkey or something along those lines, or a barbecue turkey with leftover stuff. But have you seen any things that may be leftovers that people can use with Thanksgiving materials? The only thing I can think of, man, are those sandwiches
Yeah.
because they're super easy to make, and then they usually get all nice and yummy in your tummy.
Yeah. And like the thing is, it's like I know for me, I'm still worn out the next day just from traveling. And so like the last thing I want to do is come home and cook. And so if I can like, I'm gonna nuke this in the microwave, throw on some bread and be good. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
For show. So, well, there any other things that you want to talk about for Turkey Day?
Just that I hope everybody who's listened to this podcast, if you were able to, had a good Thanksgiving and were either able to spend time in some way, shape, or form with the ones that you love around you.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man.
Mm-hmm. So,
So,
especially in a year like we've had, any kind of good you can get in your life right now, something worth holding on to.
yeah, for sure.
So, but I believe that this closes this episode.
I think this signs off, man.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit today, so I'm down with it. I like the flow of things. I mean, we have definitely come a long way from episode 1.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I've been the Meat Viking.
This is Professor Pork-Loin, aka Dr. Chef Hubs, in the house here. We are signing off.
Mhm.
Again, happy Thanksgiving and
Yep,
enjoy the holiday. Don't,
exactly. Happy Thanksgiving from our families to yours.
yep, don't go too crazy with the food.
Exactly.